Alright, this is the F23R, which some of you saw, and I didn't realize it was the best slide until halfway through class, so the other one was okay too. Okay, so this is as far away as I can get, but this is the cornea up here. This is the cornea. And the ocular conjunctiva is a very thin, non-keratinized stratified squamous on the anterior part of the cornea. So here it is here. That's the ocular conjunctiva. This is the cornea. All of this.
Sarah, what tissue type is that?
The cornea, it's collagen fibers.
Oh.
Okay, so then let's go back out to the scanning lens. Just wanted to show you the ocular conjunctiva. So then here we're moving more posterior as we go away from the cornea, moving more posterior in the eye. So then there's a very big space. And then we have, oh, I wish I could get further away. We have this large oval-shaped structure. There's one end. There's the other end. What is that?
The lens.
That's the lens. Okay, so now here is the structure as well. I'm going to show you. There's one side of it where it goes to the wall of the eye. And then the other side, this structure is what we're looking at right here. That's the iris. Yeah, and so here you see an opening where the iris sort of stops, right?
Yeah.
Nothing there. And then it, where'd it go? And then there it is on the other side. Again, so that lack of a structure, or the space between the two, is, that's the pupil. Okay, so this is, what's this?
Iris.
The iris, yeah, you can see there's pigmented cells. That's smooth muscle. If you got closer, you would recognize it as smooth muscle. Okay, and so this is all anterior cavity between the cornea and the iris, anterior cavity. Also here, anterior cavity. What solution, what fluid's in there?
Aqueous.
Aqueous humor, good.
So is it possible to pop your eye like that?
To do what? Pop it?
Pop your
Yes.
eye off?
I'll pop.
I don't know. I'm not sure
Pop
what you
puncture.
mean by that. Yeah, you could probably damage your eye significantly. Okay, so let's see here. Go back and then come forward. Okay, so here you can see the 3 layers pretty well. Sometimes there's a little space in between the layers. That's just from the sectioning preparation. There's not really going to be these spaces in between the main layers. So you have your 3 main layers: the retina, the choroid, and the sclera. Okay, I'm at the back part of the eye now is where I moved it to. I moved it away from the front, because in the front we don't have that type of organization, right? Because you've got the cornea, you've got the ciliary body, you've got the iris, but they have this organization in the rest of the eye, on all the sides and all the way around to the back.
So the sclera is most furthest back?
The sclera is
The outer layer.
all the whites of the
Okay.
eye, so
Oh, no,
outermost.
duh, sorry.
Okay, so here a little closer. Okay, Okay, so what main layer is this from here to here? The retina. It's also called the neural tunic. And what main layer is this from here to here?
Choroid.
That's the choroid. Yeah, that's the choroid. Can't say vascular tunic because vascular tunic also includes the iris and the ciliary body. Okay, and then what main layer is this from here?
Sclera.
That's the sclera. So choroid is dark. You can see how it has the dark pigment from the melanocytes, the melanin. And in the retina, we can see the very thin dark layer. That's that's a sublayer of the retina. That would call that the pigmented layer, or pigmented sublayer. Okay, then these are either the neurons or the photoreceptors. So let's get a little closer and look at those. Oh, maybe too close. Let's start there. Okay, so they're easiest to spot based on the nuclei. Can you see the dark groupings of nuclei? And the photoreceptor cells, the rods and the cones, are those going to be closest to the choroid, like over here, or are those going to be on the inside over here? Do you remember the organization? They're closest to the choroid. So you look for the nuclei. This thick layer, these are the nuclei of the rods and cones. The rods and cones do stretch out each way, but it's hard to differentiate where they stop, at least at this end. So these are the nuclei of the rods and the cones, nuclei of the photoreceptors. Okay, so these are stimulated by light and then send the information to the next cells. So we have nuclei of this sensory neuron. What kind of neuron is this? Remember those? Starts with the B? Bipolar. Yeah, these are the bipolar cells, they call them, or bipolar neurons. Yeah, and they're connecting to the rods and cones. And then those are reaching out and then connecting to these cells. We see just a scattering of these cells. Those are called ganglion cells. Okay, so these are the nuclei of what?
Rods and cones.
Rods and cones. These are nuclei of
Bipolar.
bipolar cells or neurons, and these are nuclei of ganglion cells. Good. And I just wanted to show you the difference between, I just bumped it. Here's where the choroid starts, and here's that just little itty bitty layer, sublayer of the retina, that pigmentation of the retina, and then choroid is up here. Okay, so we see that organization. Let's go around the back. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, so see it changing. Can you see the main layers here?
Mm-hmm.
And then they all stop. And we have this section in here. Okay, no photoreceptor cells, no bipolar cells, no choroid, no sclera. What is this structure here?
Fovea or something?
This is the optic disc on the inside. The optic nerve is where it comes away from the eye. So this is the optic nerve. Okay, you looked at the optic nerve, you looked at the back of the eye, you saw the optic nerve with the epineurium around it, the little sheath, that's the optic nerve. When you looked on the inside of the eye and you saw where the retina was connected, if you tried to make it hang, that's the optic disc. So it's the other side of the optic nerve. So optic disc, and then it gets that organization with the epineurium around it. That's where it is. It's called a nerve. Okay, once it's out away from the eyeball. Okay, so what's this?
Optic nerve.
Optic nerve. And what's this?
Optic disc.
Optic disc. Good, and that's what causes that blind spot that we did, that exercise we did in lecture. Alright, now, okay, so we're back here, and there's a big space right here. What's that cavity called? There it is. Yeah, posterior cavity. Good. And what humor lies in there or body?
The vitreous.
Vitreous? Yeah, vitreous body or vitreous humor, same thing. Okay, and then let's go back to the front. Anterior. Okay. So, what do we got here? Okay, so we've got, oh, we kind of lost it. I wanted to show you how it changed. Let's try the other side. A little better. It just kind of happens gradually. Okay, so there you can still see more or less. It's getting a little messy, but you can still see the retina, the choroid, and the sclera. And then you see what happens to the choroid. The choroid should kind of thicken up as you move anteriorly, and then you see smooth muscle, and you see these little things hanging off of it. Those are processes. I didn't go over that. What is this more anterior thickened part of the choroid called that has the muscle? That's the ciliary body. Yeah, and you can note that it has these things coming off of it called the ciliary processes. Is that on your list? Yeah, it does say ciliary processes. Suspensory ligaments are not visible. So ciliary body is here. You can see the smooth muscle in there. And the ciliary processes are here. And it would have the suspensory ligaments, which we don't see, connecting here to the lens. Just a couple more minutes. We'll go at 9:30. And let's see, group 8, you're the one that helped me last time. Okay, so group 7, you haven't done cleanup yet, right? Did you? Have you done cleanup group 7? No? I'm not sure. No, you haven't. Okay. I'll tell you. No, I don't think you have. Just wanted to double check. Okay, so ciliary body, do we know where that is?
Yeah, right there.
Right here. Yeah.
It's not the things coming out.
Those are specifically the ciliary processes, which, yes, are part of the ciliary body. That's part of it too. Other structures, ocular conjunctiva, we hit that already. What did I miss? Can you help me look at your list?
The eating, so posterior, anterior, the anterior.
I think you've got
Not-
I think I got it all.
Yeah,
I
you
did.
did.
Oh, except the palpebral conjunctiva, which I don't think was on your list.
No.
It
was.
wasn't. She didn't specify. Oh yeah, it doesn't specify. The conjunctiva doesn't specify ocular. Okay, so I think we should specify. So here's the cornea again, and so this one's the ocular conjunctiva. So you just jot down ocular on your list there, and then here's the eyelid. See that bad boy coming out, sticking out there? Okay, that's the eyelid, and you can kind of follow it up and see how it folds around like that.
The cul-de-sac.
Yeah, it's a cul-de-sac. Exactly. I was trying to explain a cul-de-sac to my kids the other day, and I was just failing miserably. I had to drive over to one and like, oh, okay. We don't live on one, obviously. And then so here is the what conjunctiva? Which is this one then, lining the inside of the eyelid?
Pallbearer.
Pallbearer, the palpebral conjunctiva. Okay, so just add that. You should be able to differentiate between those. So one, the palpebral lines the inner lid, and the ocular is over the cornea.
Oh gosh, you're so annoying. Like that. Drives me up the wall.
Okay, so great job. That was fun. On next time, we're going to be doing digestive, and I'm working on the PowerPoint, so you can access it by Tuesday evening. I'm doing my best here, and preview those digestive labs, 25 minutes.